everybody, and welcome to this week's installment of the Everyday Pro Investor Weekly Market Recap. You got just Brian here this evening. It's been a really long week for myself and for Evan. Unfortunately, with everything going on, Evan's not able to be on the show this week, so I've got my coffee, and I'm going to keep this as short as possible. So let's talk about a little bit about the market last week. Market ended up finishing down. It's the third week in a row, so the SPY was trading okay early in the week and started to sell off. We actually put on some SPY puts early in the week when it was trading higher. We put on the 333, 329 put spread. We ended up closing those on Friday for a nice little profit. Actually, I wish I would have held them a little bit longer. The market sold off a little bit more. Could have got a little more profit out of them, but they served their purpose. They were a solid hedge. A couple of big news stories throughout the week. We did have the TikTok decided to take Oracle on with their deal, which means obviously Microsoft lost. What's interesting here in the Oracle deal is Walmart originally was going to work with Microsoft in their deal, and now they're actually partnering with Oracle in the deal for TikTok. I think that this deal is it lacks substance, honestly, because what President Trump said he wanted was for a U.S. company to take over and own TikTok. But really, all of this deal is kind of doing is transferring the cloud storage from Google to Oracle, giving a little more control to the U.S.-based companies, having a U.S.-based name on it. But in reality, it's not actually changing a whole lot. This isn't going to be full-blown U.S. ownership. It's kind of just going to be U.S. partially operated. The data will be stored on a U.S. cloud, which it kind of already was. It was in the Google cloud. So not really that impressed with this deal. I don't think it's really big for the markets. I do think it prevents the Chinese relationship from deteriorating too much, but overall, really not that big a news. I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. I thought that we'd see a little bit more of a forced technology transfer here, which has pros and cons. I'm not a fan of TikTok, so I was kind of hoping that it would be a little bit tougher on TikTok. Another big story, though, in the markets, Nikola, obviously they came public via SPAC a while back. They want to make these hydrogen-powered semi-trucks, and they've got their Badger pickup truck from an EV platform and from a hydrogen fuel cell platform. So it was Monday. So on Monday, they announced a partnership with GM where they're going to be basically giving GM $2 billion worth of equity, and in return, GM was going to be giving, I want to say it was like, I forget how many billions, basically, they're going to get paid to have GM manufacture these vehicles. Altogether, I know the deal is probably close to about $11 billion they were estimating. So basically, Nikola is saying we're going to use these technologies and we're going to have GM manufacture it. But the funny part is a lot of it's GM technologies. It was kind of a weird deal, but it kind of legitimized the company because they hadn't even made a single vehicle, Nikola hadn't, and they kind of wanted to be the next Tesla. So this deal kind of legitimized them. Well, the next day, a firm called Hindenburg Research came out and said, this company's a fraud. And really, really, really lengthy, in-depth, detailed report. Like, this thing wasn't put together in one day. This thing was put together over the last couple months as soon as the company came public via SPAC. Really, I think there was like 90 bullet points. I know Evan and I touched on it last week, but the response came out this week that GM said, yeah, we did our due diligence, this, that, the other, and that came out on Monday. The response did, and then Nikola also came out and said, yes, all these points are false except for one. And that bullet point was that promotional video we made back in 2017, it actually, the truck wasn't, the semi-truck wasn't self-powered. It was actually just rolling down a hill. They admitted to that. And so they came out and they said to the SEC that, this Hindenburg Research, they're manipulating our stock price. And what Hindenburg Research said is, yeah, we want to talk to the SEC. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. The stock has whipsawed back and forth, back and forth. It shot up, obviously, on the GM news and then sold off on the Hindenburg report and then kind of popped back up once GM came out and said, yeah, we did our due diligence. But it's still only trading right about where the deal was announced the previous week. So really interesting stuff there. I think that it's going to be a little while before we find out what happens. And I'm sure the truth lies somewhere in between. But Hindenburg Research seems really, really confident, and some other people in the industry I've talked to seem really confident that there may be some fraud here from Nikola's founder and president. So I think his name's Trevor Milton, if I remember correctly. But that really kind of wraps up the kind of the big points for the week in the market. So let's go ahead and move on to our next segment, which is where we pick a stock and we talk about how we want to play it through options or even just through the equity. So a really interesting name they announced about a week and a half ago is Lululemon. They reported a really strong quarter, and the stock has sold off about 20-25% in the last week and a half. It's gone from about 400. It closed Friday at 295. So this is a name I really like, wish I would have been in earlier. I'm going to take a quick drink of coffee here. All right, and so I would like to get in this name. I'm not quite ready to buy it right here at the 300 level. That is kind of a technical support level from earlier, but I think there's a little bit more downside potentially in this name. So I'm going to play it through options. So what I want to do is I want to go out 2 weeks, so it's going to be the 10-2 expiring. I'm going to sell the 275 puts. Now the reason I'm doing that is there's clear support around the 265 level. You've got the 200-day moving average plus a previous breakout level, so it's strong support right about 265. I'm going to go a little bit above that 275 put. Going to collect about, let me see here, about $2.75 by selling that put. Now, this is what they like to call the deep end of the pool. This is, I'm going to commit to buy this stock at 275 if the stock moves below the strike price. So I got to have the capital in order to buy those 100 shares. That's a lot of money. That's $27,500. So this play might not work for everybody, but if you're convicted in this name, which I am, I really want to get in it, I would buy it at that level. I'm okay doing this. I have the capital available. Now what I'm also going to do though, because this stock is so oversold right now, when you look at it in the short term, so if you look at like the 10-day RSI, this thing is so oversold. So I think it could get a short-term pop as well, even within this next week coming up. So I'm going to go out and I want to buy the 310 calls, 925 expiring. Those are going to cost me about $1.50. So net here, I'm going to collect actually about $1.25. And this is what I like to really call a win-win-win situation, because I'm willing to own the stock at 275. I've collected some premium on selling that put. And even with buying the call, you write the put, I bought the call, I still collected money. Now, if the stock pops up, I'll be able to sell that call at a profit here in the short term. I also still could have the chance to buy the stock if it goes down. So it's a win. I could buy the stock. It's a win if the stock goes up because I've got the call. And then the last win is if the stock stays flat for the next 2 weeks, I've already collected some premium on these options that I've sold and bought. So I can either win if the stock goes down, I can win if it goes up, and I can win if it stays flat. So this is really a win-win-win trade in my opinion, because I'm convicted to buying this name. So moving on to the last segment here. What I'm looking at is the consumer staples sector. So I was looking at some charts, and I'm seeing a lot of similar charts right now, kind of similar to XLK, the XLP, consumer staples. You had a really nice uptrend, and now all of a sudden that trend's been broken. And now the XLP is actually pulled back short of where it broke out. So I think it broke out about 64.50, somewhere in there. Right now it's trading below that. So it's broken the trend, it's broken support. And it looks like there's a clear path to get to around 62. Now, this has low volatility, so this isn't going to move really fast. You got to use a little bit longer dated calls. So we went out a month, we went to 10.16, and we're going to play it through the 64.62 put spread. This is going to cost me about 85 cents. So risk reward, not great here. Usually we like to be able to get a little bit more than that, but we can still get a doubler here, a little bit over a doubler. Not quite as much of profit as I would like to see, but I'm feeling pretty confident with this one. And again, this doesn't have a lot of volatility, so you're not going to get a huge move to the downside most likely. You might get down to maybe 61, but it makes it really hard to play this through options, but I don't want to be short something by just going out and selling the equity. That's not something I like to do. I like to play shorts through puts. So I went and put on that put spread. Really think I've got a good opportunity to make some money here over the next month. If I get a doubler over the course of a month, that's really good profit. And this trade's setting up nicely. Like I said, if you want to go look at that chart, you can see the clear uptrend get broken, and then there was support right around the 64.50 level, 64 level. I think it's trading at like 63.50 right now, 63.75, somewhere in there. And I think you've got a really good opportunity here to put on that 64.62 put spread. And over the next month, you're going to see this thing continue to trend lower. So that wraps it up for the week. I do appreciate everybody listening. If you haven't already, go down, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Help us out, helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you like the things that you hear in our videos, obviously we usually recap trades we put on or ones we're about to put on. If you want to trade with us in real time, get the same results we do. We outperform the market on a regular basis. Just go to everydayproinvestor.com, get signed up for our subscription service. We're looking at potentially putting out a promo here soon, so keep an eye out on the next few videos and you might just get a promo for that service. And thanks for listening. Let's have a good week.